Who?
Okay, so we'll go ahead and record the PowerShell. The PowerShell that I wanted a PowerShell script that it would give me an option to install or remove Notepad++. So I created a menu that gave me option number 2 to install or a Q to quit the script. And I wanted it to be a little bit more automated. I just put in the Notepad, hey, let's install or remove it on server 2. I really meant to just use server 2 as an example. If you want a script that's going to be for a help desk person, it should be able to ask them the computer that they're going to be working on when they're running this script. So when somebody calls in, hey, my computer, this is my computer name, it doesn't have Zoom, or I need Zoom upgraded, because that was our issue. Zoom, when it upgraded on this machine, it continuously crashed. Although if we uninstalled it completely and then installed the new version, it worked fine. I just manually did that on my laptop too, and Zoom's seems faster and works better on my laptop. So I wanted the script to be able to be updated in the future. I wanted to use lots of variables so that I could easily just change a couple of variables and make this thing switch from installing Notepad++ to Zoom or any other program that you might need. So like I said, it's something I wanted you to be able to take with you outside this class. You could actually use maybe as a tool wherever you go work. So quite a few things that we did to do that, I did to get that accomplished. One of them was I created a variable and specified the location of the program to install. Instead of having this path hard-coded all over the program, I stored it into a variable so it's only there one place. That way, if I upgrade it to 8.1 or whatever the latest version is, I can just download the file, put it in that public folder, and change this one line right here, and it would upgrade it. If I want to use a different program like Zoom, I just put Zoom in there and rename just, whoops. I could edit the script and only rename that part right there to whatever the Zoom installer was. And of course, I'd have to edit my menu to say Zoom instead of Notepad++. But that was cool. So that was a lot of stuff I was trying to get to work in the PowerShell, and that's a lot. I mean, a whole lot. So let's look at some of the things I did. So here's my actual program. I've got it working. Took lots of looking at Stack Overflow and trial and error, and reading up how the documentation on Notepad++, how to uninstall it and how to install it, and just looking at information from commandlets that I could get about installed programs on remote computers, to piece everything together. So I cleared my host, and that was line 1, just to make everything look pretty, and I don't have to show all the junk on my screen. It just shows me the menu and hides all the coding. Line 2 is where I stored the path to the program version that I wanted to install. In line 3, I've created a variable for program check, also to make it kind of easier, because if I switch this out to Zoom, when I searched for if a program was installed or not installed on the system, I'd have to type the name of the program, so I could easily replace that. And didn't fix it in several different places. And actually, I probably could have changed anywhere it has Notepad++ to that. I think I need an asterisk on both sides of it. There we go. Yeah, that's what I was wanting. Okay, the very first function I created was to install Notepad++. Let me leave all that code on there and scroll it down this way. So after much research and testing and playing, I created a function called install-notepad. Open the curly brackets, and you see if I mouse over it, it grays it, and I can see that where my closing bracket is, just to help keep track of them all. So inside this function, I created a variable called cname for a computer name. Probably should have used something different than cname because that is a DNS keyword for an alias, which y'all are writing an essay on right now. Hopefully some of y'all picked up what a cname was. I think one person described what the A records and C names and stuff were, or at least talked about them. One person said they were going to talk about it in their outline, but didn't in their essay. Kind of disappointed. But at least the other person started talking about it. Okay, so we're going to read host. I'm going to prompt the user for the computer name. That makes it dynamic. So when somebody calls in, hey, I need Notepad on this computer, you type that computer name in. That's the line that's going to make it dynamic, I guess you would say. So you can do server 2, or you can do server 1, or you can do client 1, or whatever, maybe hundreds of computers that you have at your company. Well, that's pretty neat. Then I ran an invoke command on that remote computer. And inside the script block, this is what I did some Googling and Stack Overflow. I went to check the registry for installed programs, and example on the internet, they have a syswow 6432 folder in here in this list, and it wasn't finding Notepad++. So after examining the registry a little bit, I found there's another folder in the registry that didn't have the syswow that actually contained all of the listings. So I just deleted that folder name out of the path, and voila, all of a sudden it said, hey, I found Notepad++, or I didn't find Notepad++. This line right here is basically to determine is Notepad on the system, or what software. I got all the installed software off the computer system. When I ran it, it gave me a whole bunch of information, and I decided I only needed to find the name of the program. So I selected just the display name because it gave me tons and tons and tons of other junk that I didn't need to know. And then I limited it down even further. Well, not necessarily just selecting display name, I also piped it to a where object, and I limited down where the display name had the word Notepad++ somewhere in the name. So I surrounded it with asterisks. So you see the little asterisk, that means anything before Notepad or anything after it, because I don't know if there's versioning or what's going on with the complete name. So instead of having to deal with all of the software like Adobe DC, Microsoft Word, Windows patches, all those things that are installed in the system, that last where right there said limit it down and just search for this one thing. So this line will return if Notepad is installed or not. And that was a Google search, and then to figure out just on my own that the WoW didn't need to be in there, that WoW 6432 folder. So what I did, started like running selection on the local machine, and I seen that it gave me a whole bunch of junk. And I was like, I don't need all of that crap. I just need the display name. And did you see why did I put stars before and after it? because I wasn't sure if that right there might change in the future. They may change that to the versioning number or whatever. So, but I knew Notepad++ was in the name because I looked at it. That's why I added I did this stuff one at a time, added the select object to it and ran selection. And then I got an output like that. Like, cool, that's getting down pretty cool, but I see that there's some blanks. That may be some Microsoft installed stuff that for some reason is not having a display name. Like, I only want this returned if it's installed. And that's where I limited it down to the where. And ran the whole selection. And then I just have Notepad++. I got rid of the blanks. Cool. So that was that slowed me up right there, trying to figure that out. And I dropped that into an if statement because I wouldn't want to install Notepad++ if it was already installed on the computer. That's why I ran this invoke command first to figure out is it there or not. And if it wasn't there, there'd just be nothing. It'd be blank. So I run an if. If that variable had a display name, like the program check, which is right up here, line 3, if it had Notepad++ in it, then I'm going to write out to the user, it's already installed. And I'm not going to do anything else. We'll stop right there. Hey, bud, you can't install it again. It's already there. Go park the car in the garage. Sorry, I can't. There's already a car in the garage. If I didn't use this logic here, then it would try to go ahead and park the car in the garage. It already had a car in the garage, and that might not be too good. So if that script block ran and it didn't find Notepad++, there'd just be simply nothing there, and this right here statement would become false, this if statement. So it would come down here to the else, and it would run the copy item path, program 1 up here, the path to the program, to the destination, to the computer name, C drive, Windows, temp folder, and I named it installer.exe. And I'll put a force on there to override any existing files that were possibly there. Why did I put installer.exe instead of npp788 installer blah, blah, blah?
That makes it easier to type it in. Instead of having to type in the npp.7.8.8, you can just type in installer.
It makes it easier to type. It also, I can change this to whatever. This can be like 791 or 810 or something like that. And it's always going to be installer.exe. I don't have to go down this part of the code and try to worry about rewriting it. So that's cool. So it's always installer.exe. And then when I invoke the command down here against the computer name and the script block, Sean pointed out that you had to do start process and wait. The file path, this is running on the local machine now. So when I type C:\\, that'd be on whatever computer that I told this to run against. It'd be running it on that local computer, that command. And Sean says with the, if you didn't do the start process, it'd run this, and then it would try to jump back to the PowerShell script. It'd pull out of the computer, and it would stop the installer. The wait means run that program and wait till that program finishes. When that program finishes with an I'm done, then return back to the PowerShell script. So we have to thank Sean Crane for the dash wait. And my other problem I had the other day, I was trying to use the lowercase s, thinking, oh, it's not case sensitive, because normally it's not. Microsoft normally converts everything into uppercase that you type in. But for some reason, the Notepad++ had to have a /S switch. That was really weird. So that was my installer. If I try to run the program, it comes up and I've hit number 1. And I try to install this on server 1. It's already installed because I already selected this and ran it on my local server, and it said, hey, it was there. So if I run it, it should tell me it's already installed and just stop. Already installed. Press enter to continue. So that worked. Cool. So a lot of stuff there. Should have been a problem that you're like, ooh, I need to solve this problem. Maybe not in a single day. Sometimes coding, you gotta like look at a problem and work at it and then come back to it the next day. Slowly try to figure out how to solve an issue with logic, and it's nothing that it's like real quick for most people to grasp and learn, unless you have a weird natural talent for it. You're not weird though. Now for the remove Notepad++, I did kind of a similar function up here. Let's go look at my remove function. We'll compare the two. So my remove function is not terribly much different than the install one. So again, function remove notepad, open my curly bracket, ask the person running the script to enter a computer name. I store that in the variable. I then run an invoke command on that remote computer. I pass it a variable, the program check variable. I need to pass, this is argument list, meaning I need to pass a variable from my computer to a remote machine. So that's where we had to have the dash argument list. We looked at some examples on Stack Overflow on how to, if you need a locally created variable passed into a remote machine, how to do that. So that was argument list. And then inside the script block, creating a param with the same variable name in it. So we're passing it from one machine to the remote machine. So I just passed it Notepad++ surrounded by asterisk into the remote computer. So now on the remote computer, I run basically the same get item property. That allows me to check the remote computer. I need to recheck my first one up there. So is my first one actually running? Yeah, it's invoking on a remote computer, but what's going on up here? I need to fix my top one. One's not like the other one. I need to fix it. I want that to be a variable. That will make it easier for me to change the program because if I was left hard coded in there and I tried to change this over to Zoom, it would be not well. So if I change that, I also have to put this in there. And also have to put this in there. I can make it look a little bit. A little bit more spread out like that. I just upgraded my function. Yay. New version.
You're gonna release it and it'll be like 50 gigabytes and make your users have to download a 50 gigabyte update.
Yep.
That's positive, by the way.
Yep, I have a single little change. I have a 50 gig update. Okay, so I think that's going to look better. I made a change. You always make a change, rerun your program, see if it works again. So fit number 1 and then type in server 2. I'll have to go out and check server 2. Apparently server 2 didn't have Notepad++ installed on it, and it's probably installing it. And this is probably the dash wait. Nope. Nope. Yeah. There you go. Press enter to continue. Apparently server 2 did not have it on there. Now if it tried to do it on server 2 again. Already installed. So I just installed Notepad++ on server 2. So it's working. But so look down here. So remove a Notepad. So yeah, I'm invoking command on the remote computer. I'm getting information. Does that remote computer have Notepad++ installed on it? When I got that string, yeah, if I get anything out of down here in my if statement, this statement might be a little bit weird. Like if HMM, what's that doing, Mr. Goodman? If it's not installed onto the computer, there won't be anything put in this variable. And this line right here will test HMM. If there's nothing in it, it'll consider that as a false statement. It's like, if it's just empty, it's going to go, oh, that's empty. If it's empty, it's going to write program not found. If there's something in it, it'll run these commands down here. And what am I doing here on line 24? If I get the item property, all this stuff right here, let me rerun that again. Also put uninstall string in there too, because, oh, I gotta quit before it'll run. So when I first just ran that first line right here without all the other stuff, I found out that there's display name, there's uninstall string, there's a whole bunch of other stuff about the program in the list. But I looked at the uninstall string column, and looking at that column, I decided that looks like the path to the uninstaller for the application that's installed into the program. So I'm Google searching, how do you silently uninstall? And they said, well, just add a /s switch to the uninstaller. Okay, neat. So from that information, I said, grab the uninstall string and put it into a variable, and then start process, wait for the process to finish, but run that uninstall string with a /s on the end of it. And that's how it knows how to run the uninstaller. Instead of having to try to hard code C:\program files, notepad++, uninstall.exe into the system, I pulled it from the registry. That's how add remove programs knows how to uninstall a program when you click, uninstall. I think they call it programs and features now instead of add remove programs. But anyway, it used to be called add remove programs way back in the day. Sean knows, he's got XP installed. We pick on him. Anybody used XP before? Anybody install programs, remove programs on the Windows XP machine? Anything pre-Vista? No? Y'all are young people. You're all fired. By pulling the uninstall string, this also makes it more automated. If I'm using Zoom, I could figure out via Zoom what the uninstall string was for it. Let me see if I can copy this out and run it on my local computer. And let's see what that looks like. Copy that. And come down to my actual host machine where I'm logged in as my ASUB user account. And I run that. And there's all of the programs installed into my system. Well, where's Zoom? Do I see Zoom? Node, Python, NVIDIA. Is it an install order? What type of order is this in? Updates, Python. .7-zip, packet tracer. But notice they all have an uninstaller. It's not. They all have an uninstall string. So that's kind of cool. There's Notepad. I don't see Zoom in there though. Interesting. I wonder if Zoom's under the originally going to write this for. So HKLM is H key local machine. H key local machine. And then software Microsoft Windows. So if I open this up and I find software and I find Microsoft, there's a WoW 64. Nothing in there. So Windows. This prep. I was looking to see if there's another folder somewhere. Windows. What's the other? Current version.
Uninstall.
I was going through there. I was also looking for a syswow 64 or a WoW 64, 3264. I'm not seeing any of those existing. Interesting. Okay, where's uninstall? There's uninstall. There's all the uninstallers. Huh. Well, I've lost Zoom. That'd have to be a research. I guess Zoom is stored somewhere else in the registry.
HP local machine software policies, Zoom meetings, and meetings.
Yeah, but that's maybe not be where the uninstaller is. Yeah, I was making sure. I did a search for Zoom. It didn't see it. Okay, well, I'm going to hunt for that in a little bit. That's pretty much my complete program right there. I might write some more comments like up here where it's when it gets down to this point, I might actually want to put something on the screen before it starts running these commands, such as write host. Installing installing that program, please wait. So when it copies and is running that command, at least there's something on my screen telling me what's going on. I might also want to write host. Complete. Let's see if this looks a little bit better. If I run a little bit more informative. So first, I'm going to have to run number 2 and uninstall Notepad on a computer because I've installed it on server 2 already. So I hit enter. I probably need something written to the screen at that point, maybe in red. Please wait. Uninstalling Notepad++. I've got the complete right there. That's cool. But down here at complete, I should probably do a foreground color of green too. Okay, so I've hit number 1, server 2, I hit enter. It pops up and tells me installing Notepad++, please wait. That's a lot better. At least I know I told myself it's doing something. That's cool. A junior admin would also not sit there and want to hit Control-C or quit because it's just sitting there not showing them anything on the screen. Now it tells them, please wait. And now we have complete. And plus it's a different color. It kind of alerts them that if they don't notice the press enter to continue, they're just sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting. They don't reread the screen. There's at least another color on the screen that pops up and they go, oh, something happened. Oh, it says enter to continue. Okay, cool. So I think I just need some more talking to myself on what's going on. It's like right above here. Right host. Please wait. Uh-oh, what in the heck just happened? What in the world? Control-Z. I don't know what in the world happened. Okay. Okay, foreground color. I don't know. Blue. Sure. I don't really mean to hit enter. Okay, please wait. That right there takes a little bit. That doesn't take any time to do. Maybe foreground color red on that one. That looks okay. So up here, already installed. Maybe foreground color red on that one too. I'm writing telling me I'm installing it. I'm writing telling me when it's completed. I'll write to host. Please wait. All right, host when it's complete. So yeah, all that code looks, and then of course I did my menu just like we did prior. I just copied and pasted the menu from the other script we did a week ago and put it in here and just changed some words around. And of course I changed up what commandlets it ran. Also added in 2 Q's right there, a lowercase and an uppercase, depending on if the user, typed in an uppercase or a lowercase, it'll accept either one in breakout.
Hey, Mr. Goodman,
Yes.
I think I found the uninstaller. I think I did. I'm not 100% sure though. Resume.
Okay, I'm going to run this. So already installed, that's cool. I'll remove it. Server 2 should show me, please wait, foreground color, what?
You don't have the foreground color blue and the clothes. Why did that pop up?
Because I misspelled foreground. And that's why. That's why. I had to spell things right. If I try to uninstall it again, that should give me color red, program not found. Cool. If I uninstall it from server 1, oops, nope, I'm not uninstall. Number 2, here we go. Server 1. Should pop up, please wait. Oh, I didn't quit my, but it uninstalled it. I had to quit and start it again before it reads the new fixed code. Okay, one more time. Let me install it somewhere. I'll install it locally. Server 1. Complete. Remove it. Now it should have some color. Please wait. Complete. Press enter to continue. So Notepad's gone. Let me reinstall it. Computer's like, what are you doing? Why are you installing and uninstalling Notepad so much? Said complete. Uh-oh. There it is. Took a second. It popped on the screen. Ta-da! So if I wanted to make it a little bit more automated, maybe I replace all the Notepad pluses with that variable. It'll have stars around it, but Just trying to think of how to make it slightly more cool. So that stars around Notepad++, but that's pretty neat. Uh-oh. I need to take away 2 dots. I forgot. It doesn't print the variable length. It prints the what's inside of it. It's like one more out of each one.
Watch it be too much.
There we go. Perfect. Of course, I could have created a third variable and named program name and put Notepad++ without the quotes and put that into different spots where it's printing it out. I could make it better. That's one thing about coding. You can always improve and upgrade your code continuously. So we've reached break time. I'm actually going to copy and paste this into Canvas for anybody that hasn't got it all typed out or having some trouble typing it out. This is Lan class. So
You're in system, you're in the virtualization.
oh, cancel. You'd think glasses would let me be able to read better. They were side by side. I'm dyslexic. That's my excuse. There we go. That doesn't look as pretty as it will be in it if it's in Visual Studio Code, but I just saved all of that code. I said that might be something useful as a toolbox, at least something for you to reference off on. If you need something similar to that in the workforce. And tried to make it as customizable as possible by just changing a couple of things up here. You'd also have to research whatever that you're going to uninstall, like Zoom or something, and maybe figure out what the uninstall switches are for Zoom. I don't know if a /s works for Zoom uninstaller or not. You'd have to research Zoom and figure that out. But the uninstallers there, and installer silent switch, those 2 points and these 2 variables here are probably about the only major thing that needs to be changed in this to make it work with another program. Okay, we got break time. Oh, there's lots of chats going on.